let's start with the highest reality, the Supreme Person, Lord, and how that relates to various deities, how that relates to Sri Krishna, how that relates to Shiva, how that relates to goddess and various deities. So we can then take it further from there.
Yeah. Before I go into specific answer to your question, first of all, I'd like to bring about a very fundamental process of how the society builds up a corpus of knowledge. As of now, in the modern world, the most popular thing is the science, modern science. The modern science, they have their way of getting the observations through the senses, 5 senses, or through instruments, gross instruments. And ultimately, they correlate things and find out what is the cause of something. And then they further go find out what is the cause of that. And they go deeper and deeper. And this is how they have built up the knowledge, the scientific knowledge. That is fine. But then there is a very different process of acquiring knowledge, which is practiced by a few like us, which was practiced in India. This system itself was not aware to me till I read Sri Prabhupada's books. That was a very major impact on me. This process, the first process is in Sanskrit is called Aroha Pantha, the path of ascending process. And the other process is called Avaroha Pantha. In Avaroha Pantha, ready-made knowledge, that means when facts have come into existence, the knowledge about that also exists. Somewhere in the universe, if universe exists, the knowledge of the universe also exists. It is a question of how we tune ourselves to that particular vibration and receive that knowledge.
Beautiful.
And this knowledge, by the way, spans not only the gross world, which the science is limited to, it spans into a mind, intellect, ego, finer aspects of existence. So these aspects, as far as modern science is concerned, they can't touch it, because by definition they are circumscribed. I won't go beyond my 5 senses. But reality is far more complex than that. The very scientist, he uses his mind, he doesn't know what that mind is. He uses intelligence, he doesn't know what it is made up of. But our scriptures, they say it's a substance. It is not a permutation combination of chemicals.
So, I used to be a software engineer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to state it in a framework that I understand as a software engineer, maybe many of the people here. One of the things junior software engineers have to do is to figure out what is the software trying to do which somebody else wrote. So I'm this young guy, I'm thrown this program, the person who wrote it is gone, he did not leave documentation, there is no user manual in those days, and my job is to reverse engineer and build all the flowcharts. He didn't leave any flowcharts behind, he just vanished, and I have to externally try what the software does if I do this, and it's not even source code is not available, it's all machine language code. So now I have to do bottom up, keep discovering, keep doing experiments with how the system behaves. If I enter this, it does this, if I enter this, it does that. So I imagine must be the flowchart, how it is running. So this is bottom up discovery of how this mechanism works. Now what you are telling me is that however it came about, that mind has a design of it. That mind of the original source has a design of it.
Yes.
So if I keep doing this trial and error, I'll keep coming up with partial truths. I'll never come up with the real original flowchart of that mind.
Exactly.
Whereas if I could connect with that being,
Exactly.
if I could connect with that being, call him up and say, listen, Bhai, I am in trouble now, these guys will fire me, you please tell me. That person has the capacity to say, what you figured out is all wrong. Here is how the flowchart is, because that person wrote the program and designed the whole cosmos. He knows how it works. He can tell me the knowledge. So what you are saying is, if something exists like this particular program system exists, then the knowledge about it also exists because that was used to create it.
Right.
So if reality exists, then knowledge of the reality at the highest ultimate level also exists.
Yes.
So rather than the method of science, which is called empiricism, and
Right.
science is very proud of it,
Right.
which is a bottom-up method, try this, try that, document the data, see what works, and keep constructing reverse engineering. So all the knowledge that science is getting is reverse engineering the cosmic machine.
Right.
Whereas what you are saying is there is a source code, there is the original design structure
Right.
by the creator, and we human beings have access to it if we were to get the right methodology.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, right.
Okay.
The way to get that right methodology, the real issue is, as you rightly said, it's a communication.
So now the question is, how do I connect with this higher intelligence?
Yes.
This is what the whole tradition is about.
Right.
It's connecting us to that tradition,
Yes, yes.
to that higher intelligence,
Yes.
so that I can get knowledge from there rather than trying to be too smart and trying to figure it out for myself.
Right.
So how do we do that?
You see, the scientist, let's say, there is a proposition that, H2O is water.
Right.
So the student, he first has a chemistry textbook, and then he sees, it is an authorized textbook. So he has faith at least in the proposition. Now after that, he goes to a chemistry professor. And the guidance of a chemistry professor, he would follow a particular scientific culture, science culture you can say, of experimentation. You mix two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen in a particular temperature, particular pressure, and then you will see for yourself H2O is equal to water. So in this, if you see, even modern science, even though they are following the same almost ready-made knowledge, because I have to trust the chemistry textbook, and then the elements are similar, but here what is happening in this subject matter, the instruments are not just gross. There is a mind, there is the intelligence, and there is a ego. These three things are instruments of the soul. Just like if you have a telescope, there is a power for the telescope, there is a power for the microscope. It is designed for a particular purpose, right? Similarly, if these subtler truths of subtler reality, knowledge about subtle reality of this existence, if you need to know, there must be a discipline of mind, intelligence and ego, which makes it vibrate in the right frequency to connect with that source who has all this knowledge. So that is where they are losing on, because they circumscribe their entire process within the gross world. They don't care for the mental discipline. They don't care for the intellectual discipline. In the intellectual discipline means self-discipline. Self-discipline. Intellect is being applied on the outside world, no doubt. But they're not applying intellect on their own intellect.
So, if I understand correctly, for a person to access that original source knowledge,
Right.
the methodology requires all this lifestyle. So when we say don't eat these things, drink these things, eat these things,
Exactly.
get up in the morning, do this sadhana, live this life, don't do that, think these things, don't do those things, all of that is part of what you may call the preparation of the device to be able to do this.
This is a laboratory.
So it is
Body
like
is a laboratory.
a protocol.
Yeah.
I'm installing this Wi-Fi, I have to do the protocol so it can connect with the cloud.
Yes.
I have to do that.
Yes, and this is called disciplic succession.
Yes.
Disciplic succession means there has to be discipline.
And that's why you need parampara.
Parampara, exactly. So each parampara has their prescribed discipline by which they can, vibrate in the right frequency. And just like the chemistry professor, we have a guru. You have to vibrate with the guru and he will pass on. And he has vibrated with his guru in the right frequency to receive that knowledge.
So while in the example of computer source code, I would sit down with the person who wrote it, and he's going to sit down for days and days and teach me at the intellectual level. And then when I'm ready to move on, I teach my successor. In this case, the transmission requires a much more sophisticated consciousness to be cultivated through the right rasas, through the right process.
Exactly.
It is not just normal intellect, because the kind of knowledge we're dealing with is much more sophisticated, much more refined.
Yes.
So that is what the whole guru relationship is about.
100%.
That is what the whole lifestyle is about.
Yes.
The lifestyle and the guru relationship which leads to the lifestyle is to cultivate the process so I can tune in to the source of knowledge.
Yes.
Rather than having to depend on the scientific empiricism to get that knowledge. I'll get it from the source, I'll get the right knowledge, and that will inform me about the nature of reality and what I am all about, what I should do. So it's actually a far more sophisticated science than the normal science.
It's called sadhana.
It is called sadhana. Very beautiful. This is amazing. Now, given this methodology,
Yeah.
and given Prabhupada is a modern kind of exemplar of this, so explain Prabhupada's understanding
Yeah.
of the ultimate reality and the place of Sri Krishna, other deities in that reality.
Yeah. See, Srila Prabhupada is part of a disciplic succession.
Right.
He has a guru, and then another guru, then finally, different. The major links are Brahma, then Madhvacharya, Vyasadev, then Madhvacharya, Lord Chaitanya, then many Goswamis of Vrindavan, and then his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta, then his guru, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. All this is a chain of disciplic succession.
Can I ask a question here?
Yeah.
Is Rupa Goswami
Yes.
part of this?
Yes, Rupa Goswami is part
Excellent.
of this. Yeah.
Good. Because I'm also studying that.
Okay, very good. So in fact, Rupa Goswami is the leader of the present Krishna consciousness movement.
Oh, okay, good. So I'm in the right place.
Yes. We are called Rupanugas, followers of Rupa.
Okay.
Rupanugas. So anyway, Prabhupada is coming in this disciplic succession. So there is a discipline, and which means the knowledge that he has received is through, as I said, Vyasadeva is one of the major links after Brahma in this particular parampara. So whatever Prabhupada has presented to the world is a knowledge from disciplic succession.
Yes.
Which means, like Prabhupada represented whatever Vyasadeva spoke about the absolute truth. Now, when you take Vyasadeva's, you can say his career.
Yeah. Amazing career.
Yeah. So many, literary works he composed, and then, he completed even Vedanta Sutras, Puranas, Itihasas, divided the Vedas, all those things he organized, scripting of all those things. Then he found himself to be not still fully satisfied about it. This is in Bhagavatam. So Narada Muni approached. What is it? Why you are looking at this thing? No, I am not very happy. Then he asked, I really want to ask you why I am not feeling that what all I, including Vedanta Sutra, the cream of Vedas, I have, put down in writing. So why I am not feeling that fulfillment? So Narada Muni told him that, look, you have not sufficiently glorified Krishna. That is when Vyasadeva starts writing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is the last work of Vyasadeva. You see, if you write 10 books on a subject, your 10th book will contain all mature knowledge. Right? So let's see the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. How Vyasadeva begins. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I pay my obeisances to Vasudeva, son of Vasudeva, is Krishna. Vasudeva. Janmadasya yataha anvayad itaras cha arteshu abhijñat swarat. That means abhijñat swarat. Abhijña means one who is jna, one who is knowing everything, one who is cognizant of everything, all cognizant. Swarat. Swarat means completely independent, one who does not have a cause. So to that is how he sees Krishna, son of Vasudeva, as. And Janmadasyetha, Janma Adi means the one who is the cause of creation, maintenance, destruction of the manifested universes. This is Krishna as the cause of that, and who is directly and indirectly conscious of all this entire existence. To him I pay my obeisances. He says, and the verse ends by saying that Kuhakam, Nirasta Kuhakam, Satyam Param Dhimahi. That means he is the Param Satya, free from all illusions. So this is how Vyasadeva starts Srimad Bhagavatam, defining the absolute truth, Param Satya, as a cognizant being, all-knowing being, a personality. If there is no personality, there is no question of Swarat. So energy doesn't have free will and all these things. So you have to be a person.